I definitely recognize some faces in the group, but for those who I don't know, my name is Katie Auger, and I am the Community Resource Navigator with the Bainbridge Island Senior Center. So under normal circumstances, I spend part of my week at the Senior Center, and then my position is also split with volunteer caregivers. So some of you may be familiar with IVC as well, and so I work with both organizations with the same title. I just switch locations, and I'm just available at both sites just to visit and meet with folks about resources in the community that might be helpful. So please know that aside from the Aging Mastery Program, at any point in time, please feel free to reach out. You can find my information by calling the Senior Center, or I know it's been posted on the website as well. So feel free to email me or just let the Senior Center know that you'd like to track me down, and I'm happy to meet. So while I do many things with the Senior Center, what I'm here to talk to you guys about today is the Aging Mastery Program. And I would just like to first acknowledge Puget Sound Energy, which is providing sponsorship for this program. So we just want to say a big thank you to Puget Sound Energy for helping make this possible through the Senior Center. Just out of curiosity, have people heard of the Aging Mastery Program before? You can either nod your head or raise a hand, or okay, great. Sheila's familiar with it. Okay, so this is new to many of us. And in fact, honestly, this is my first time doing the program, so I'm kind of learning as I go along. The Aging Mastery Program is part of the National Council on Aging, and it's an evidence-based program that started in 2013. And what it is it's meant to be a guide and provide tools to help us age well. Generally, the way the program is run, there is an in-person class that takes place, and we were actually hoping to have that happen this spring. We had everything lined up when we were ready to go, and then, of course, we all know the next part of the story. So things have been disrupted a bit in terms of what our original goal was for the program. But, I think like all of us, we're trying to adapt and be creative. So what we're doing now, as Bob mentioned, there is an actual Aging Mastery Program starter kit. And so this is a kit that can be done independently at home through a grant. We're covering the cost of this, so this is going to be free to any individual who'd like to participate. And I'll show you in just a moment what's included in the kit. But the idea is this is something that you just work on independently at your own pace. There's different tools within it. There's reading material. There's videos that you can watch. And it kind of covers, sort of a range of topics. And again, I'll go over what those topics are in a moment. What we've also started to provide, and we actually had our first session yesterday. So using the same format that we're using right now, Google Meet, we have a small group that's going to be meeting every other Tuesday. And like I said, we had the first session yesterday. And it's just going to be an opportunity for folks who are using the home starter kits that maybe want a little more engagement and a little more opportunity to talk things over with, fellow community members. It's the way to engage a bit more. So let me show you what's included in the kit. And I let folks know that it's entirely up to the individual, whether you want to participate either in a group setting or whether you prefer to just work independently. But what it comes with is the Aging Mastery Playbook. Am I holding this up? Okay, so got to make sure you see it. So within this book, there are the 6 topics that we cover, and they range from gratitude and mindfulness, health and well-being, finances and future planning, connections and community, creativity and learning, and legacy and purpose. Now, the idea of this program is really meant to work for the individual. So, for some folks, they might decide, oh, I'm feeling, pretty comfortable and settled, and I have a good routine with the finances. So, the focus might be then, looking at something like legacy. So while you can use it, as a whole, you can also, focus on certain areas that, perhaps are more meaningful to you, or things that you're looking to improve in your own life. So there's a playbook that we're going to be following through. The kit also comes with this little notepad, and it's just something that can be used to set up weekly goals for yourself. So if you're somebody who does well by writing down little reminder notes, so it's just a weekly check-in. So it talks about what is my goal for the week, what am I grateful for, and then identifying people that you might want to reach out to. So that is part of the kit. And then there's 2 DVDs, because again, part of what the Aging Mastery program is about is health and fitness. And so they do offer there's some Tai Chi DVD that folks can follow along to. And then there's also some exercise classes as well. It's not a requirement. I know not everybody has access to a DVD player. So, and it might be that somebody has, you have an online exercise class that you participate in, or you do your own thing at home. So it's just a resource. And then lastly, in the kit, it also comes with a deck of cards. And these are not your typical deck of cards. What these are, they cover the 6 different topics. And so again, the gratitude and mindfulness, health and well-being. And just to give you an example of what's on the card. So I pulled one out, and the card reads, "Be grateful for one negative thing today." Okay, so it's sort of a little challenge to self. And then on the back, it goes on to explain why. So why this? Growing older includes facing losses and hardships. Adopting an attitude of gratitude helps address the negatives by challenging us to find a way to be grateful for them. Okay, so that's the why. And then it gives you a how. How? Thinking about something negative and being grateful for it. Example, lousy weather today. Good thing. Since I can't go out, I'll phone a friend for a chat. So one example, kind of getting us to look at things differently, to challenge ourselves in ways that we may not normally challenge ourselves. So, okay, so I've been rambling. I'm going to take just a brief moment to see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to jump in. If you want to, wave your hand, if you want to type a message into the box. I think I've seen a lot of faces on here from other calls. So, but in case you're not familiar, if you scroll your mouse or you look up in the top right-hand corner of your screen, there's a little box there that when you scroll over, it should say chat with everyone. And if you click on that, it'll allow you to type into that box any questions, and that way it'll pop up to the group so we can read along. Okay. Okay, great question. Sheila just asked, where can we get the kit? So there's 2 different ways to get the kit. The kits can be ordered online. And again, there's no cost to you as an individual. The shipping is covered. You will need a special code through the Senior Center. And that kit will be then mailed directly to your home. It takes about 2 weeks to get the kits right now. So what I'll do is at the end of the session, or feel free if you want to, in the chat box, you can either private message me, or you can send, just put your email or phone number in, and I'll make sure to get that, or else at the end of the phone call, if you want to stay online, I'll get your contact information, and then I can email you the instructions of how to order the kits. If you're not as comfortable with ordering things online, we do also have some kits available at the Senior Center. So again, just let me know. And then what we can do is I'll make sure the next time I go in, I'll put your name on it and set it aside. And then we'll just, we'll talk details about when's a good time for you, and arrange, to have the kits picked up. So yeah, great question, Sheila.
Katie, can we do this whole thing online? And you mentioned something about having a class.
Yes, that's a great question. So So the like all of the reading material and the different cards and activities, as far as I know, they're not available online. But in terms of if you're wanting to, say, participate in a group, we can get you the individual kit, and then you can join online in terms of being able to interact with other folks who are also participating in the program.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any other questions?
You said the concept or whatever is sort of national, but it specifically here, Puget Sound, whatever you said, is doing a grant for this. When people are someplace else, is it just like their local places that are picking up the costs, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there is grant money available through the National Council on Aging, and so that's part of what we're receiving. But also to help supplement, we do look for sponsorship, and so that's where Puget Sound Energy is specifically helping to sponsor us through the Bainbridge Island Senior Center. Yeah, and so there are other senior centers throughout our region. I know I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I know other programs throughout Kitsap County and King County, and other neighboring counties also offer these programs. It doesn't have to be offered through a senior center, but oftentimes it is. And so they also look, individually for sponsorship as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking.
Now, you're so young, and this is for aging. So did you study geriatric health or something of that sort?
That's also a great question, and I actually have asked myself that as well. And I think it's a very important thing to point out. My background is in social work. I've worked with IVC and for the Senior Center for a year now, and then I also have worked with a similar program in King County through Catholic Community Services. So that's a little bit about my background. And I certainly acknowledge I'm in my late 30s, so that's where I'm at in terms of my aging and life. So, but I think that's really important, and the idea behind it is, I am there as a facilitator for the program, but I recognize that I think so much of the strength and the wisdom and what this program has to offer comes from the fact that we're doing this in a book club format. So it's not just about me trying to like force feed everybody anything or tell people how to age. It's really a matter of listening to peers and to friends and to community members, and there are going to be some things that perhaps feel more applicable, and there are going to be other things that perhaps feel not as applicable to each individual. So it's really meant to be, again, that's why it's a self-guided thing with the opportunity to share with with friends and neighbors. So yeah. Okay, well, great questions. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Okay. Throw out a question.
Yes.
So we're just starting this, but the program is available pretty much anytime anybody wants to participate, right?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, as we mentioned, we've just started doing our book club group, which we had yesterday for the first time. Because we're still very early on in the process, I think, if for anyone who's interested in joining the book club, again, let me know and you can jump on. I think we're still early enough on that, you can easily, come on board. But again, if at any point in time you'd like to receive the kit and work independently, there's really no timeline there, for the immediate future. You can let me know, or if you happen to be sharing, with a friend or a loved one about the program, we can get them the kit at any point. That's not a problem. And I'd also say too that, while we've got this book club going currently, if there's an interest in the future, people feel maybe not quite ready to get started now, but if there's enough interest, I would be more than happy to, we could add a second book club, once this book club wraps up, they can overlap, that's the really great things. We can be flexible about this. And again, while the center is not, fully opened, of course, we can't hold our in-person classes, but it's certainly my hope that, when we get back to that point in the future, that we'd also be able to hold an in-class session as well. And I'd like to add that if you do think that you would like to participate in class in the future, please don't let that, hold you back from receiving a starter kit now if you're interested. You can certainly do both. Yeah, it doesn't have to be one or the other. So that's certainly an option. Good question, Reed. Thank you. Okay.
Katie, then I guess I'm hearing, I didn't understand completely. I just go out on the Senior Center website to apply for the kit, or are we sending something out in addition to that enables us to work through you to get it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sorry if I didn't make that clear. So you would just connect with me, and depending on whether you'd prefer to order the kit and have it mailed directly to your home, or whether you'd prefer to arrange a time to pick it up from the Senior Center, I'll be the contact person for that. So whether you prefer to reach out to me, on your own time, or like I said at the end of the call, anyone who might be interested, I'm happy to take contact information. And then I can follow up and, work one-on-one with you to figure out the best way to receive a kit.
Okay, thank you very much, Katie. We would like, both Catherine and I would like to.
I don't know if you need two kits.
Do we need two kits, or can we share one?
Yeah, you can do either way. The kits are such that if you're comfortable sharing the book, but I'm also happy to get you each your own kit if that's.
Depends on whether you want to write private stuff to yourself in there, Jim.
Yeah, the main thing is, if you'd like to write notes in your own book, like I said, it also, with the little notepad here, it's pretty thick and it's easy to tear apart. But, I think if you find that you'll want to use these and kind of make your own notes, having two kits might be a good idea.
Okay, well, each of us would like to have one, so.
Because I'll lose yours.
She'll lose mine. Catherine will lose mine.
I can understand. Yeah, and I have your guys' contact information, so I'll follow up with you afterwards as well.
Great.
Katie, I'm here too. Katie, I'm here hiding in my jammies.
Oh, good. Catherine, to hear your voice.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Good.
Okay. Thanks.
This is Richard Herzog. Would you send me a kit also?
Yes, Richard, I would be happy to do that. And do you want me to have one mailed to you, or would you prefer to?
You want to pick ours up?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be good if you mailed it to me. So I'll make sure that you have my I've changed my address with IVC. I'm not sure if I've changed it with Senior Center, but I'll contact you with my correct address after this. Thank you.
Perfect. That sounds great.
Yeah, we don't have your updated address, Richard, so that's great. Just work with Katie.
Good. Okay, good. I'll do it to everybody. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Richard. And I guess while we're going through, if anyone else right now would like to let me know.
Okay. The Chans would like to have a kit.
We can pick it up.
And we can pick it up at the Senior Center.
Okay, perfect.
And
very good.
Probably share a kit.
Okay, you'll share a kit. Okay. All right.
Katie,
and I see. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rita.
Sorry, I would like a kit too, and I could pick it up.
Perfect. Okay.
Thanks. I'd like to join a group too.
Okay, wonderful. So, Rita, what's the best way to contact you? Do you want me to email you or give you a call?
Yeah, you could just email me is great. And
Okay.
I think you already have my email.
I think so. And if you've had it entered into the senior center, I can look it up that way too. So, okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Katie, this is Jim Hayner again. We can pick it up as well if it's more convenient for you.
You know, honestly, either way is just fine. Like I said, if it's most convenient to have it mailed to you, that's fine. It does take about 2 weeks to be mailed. So if you think you'd like to, start looking at it sooner than later, then I can, set it aside for you at the senior center.
We'll just come by and pick one up we'll pick two up. Sorry.
Yeah.
And if you just mark them for us, I'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I will do that. And again, I'll follow up with everyone to let you know the details of, how we'll do the pickup and the time it'll be available and everything. So.
Great.
Then Katie, thank you again for a great job as usual.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, can you please post your 2 email addresses on this for us?
Yes, I am happy to do that. So I'll do that right now. And what I'm going to do is in the little message box, I'm going to include my email address. And I actually just used the one email address, which is katie@ivcbainbridge.org. So I'm posting that now, and it should be popping up as a little message for you.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, feel free to, email me at any point in time if you decide you want to participate in the book club, or you think you might want to participate in class in the future, and or you find that you're talking to somebody and they would like to, receive a kit as well. I'm happy to make sure that, whoever would like one can receive one. And one more, and I was also going to add too, so, we're doing the book club, and the idea is we're trying to keep it, fairly small, fairly intimate. So, probably under about 12 people is what we're looking at. But I would also say, if you happen to have a friend or say a loved one that you would like to do this with, people also have done it where you just partner up with somebody, you kind of have like a buddy system where you do this program as well. So just something to keep in mind if you feel like you're kind of in between, like maybe not quite ready to join a group, but, perhaps you have a loved one who's cross country, you could have them look and contact their local senior center or area agency on aging to see if it's provided in their community. And, potentially you could always, do it, as a team or, with your family or whoever. It's, but it certainly works for that, setup as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Well, any other questions that I can answer about the program or any other thoughts that anyone has?
Read another card.
Yeah, I would happily. Okay, let's see here. Do a different category here. Okay. So now I'm pulling one from the connections and community. And I'm just doing this at random. So I recognize that we're going to have to look at things a little differently given the fact that we're still under quarantine. So we'll see how this one works out. But so this one says, listen, learn, lean in, love. Okay, the why. Good communication is the basis of great relationships. How? Use the 4 L's to avoid misunderstandings, key in on concerns, set healthy boundaries, and show compassion.
Mm-hmm. Some of these, they're obviously it's designed for aging well, but some of it's designed for living well. It isn't really age specific. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And like, as I mentioned, I'm in my late 30s, mid to late 30s. And, looking through some of these cards, I find them to be really, really helpful. I think for myself, and, I think about talking to my loved ones and family members, and, it's, one thing that came up in our session yesterday was, people started bringing up the fact, like what their grandchildren were going through or what their parents were going through. And I think there's just a really neat element too of just, the, intergenerational, that, how we might all experience this, and, recognizing what our younger loved ones are going through, and, what our older generations are going through. It really kind of ties in nicely. So, yeah. And I was also going to mention too, and one thing that I'm looking forward to talking over with the group of participants, as we talk about all these different categories, I think when you do the in-class sessions, what you generally do is you have expert speakers come in. So, when you're looking at like the health and well-being, you might have a medical professional come in and present to the group. So again, while it's going to look a little different for us doing this online, and while we're not using the full curriculum of what the in-class session would be, I am hoping that we can, continue to invite folks to join our group, and especially, hearing from each little cohort that we end up doing with the book clubs, what are people really interested in, and how can we, have experts in the community come and talk to us and answer specific questions.